to the channel. I'm about 30 minutes, one take before work. Here we go. Trash Panda always rushing it. Why do things on time when you can do them quickly and badly? Today is a bit of a confession video because I'm not only a Trash Panda who does not like to spend money, I am also a little bit of a magpie and I like to collect things. This one specifically is about my dolls because I have acquired quite a lot of them, and this is also just an excuse to go through them and why I bought more of them. I have a problem if I'm thrifting, specifically at the outlet store, and I see a doll with joints, specifically Miraculous Ladybug, Rainbow High, LOL, OMG. If they have all of their limbs and have quite a good bit of joints, I will pick them up. And I also have a large bin of these that I need to start doing something with and not just collecting more. So I'm gonna try and do some of these random challenge videos just to try and get through the stock I have so I can get more stock because I like shopping. I just went thrifting. I found 2 LOL dolls, all their limbs, all their outfits, everything like that. I had to race a guy for him. I won. I got 2. I think he got the other 2. I won. He didn't get all of them. So I need an excuse to use them. And my boyfriend took me on a surprise trip. This is end of January when I'm filming this. I'm doing a bit of a backlog. So he took me the 9th through the 11th on a little surprise trip to Branson. This is important because, again, it is like a bit of a background for everything, because we had finished our agenda for the day and we were just trying to drive around and look for something, and we happened to see claw machines in this little like outdoor or it's like a strip mall with like the shops across there, and then you could see like inside which ones you wanted to go to, and we immediately saw claw machines and we're like, we need to stop there. It was like how in malls they'll have like the bathrooms in like a little separate section. It was like that, and then the room out front for like while you wait for your friends, family, whoever's going to the bathroom, they had claw machines to try and get you to buy stuff just while you wait. It worked. We spent about $40 on there, $20 for me, $20 for him. We split it, so about $20 each. These were such a scam, but I thought if I could get one thing out of any of the claw machines, I would do a video on it. Totally as a joke. I didn't expect to get anything. I got a little boa bear. I wasn't actually aiming for this. I was just trying to get anything because these claw machines sucked, and like the coins, it was a mess. Got it. Very not worth it, but here we are. So today's doll theme is making a doll based off of this, basically. So I picked one of the 2 dolls. I did a concept of what exactly I wanted to go for. Sadly, I wasn't able to do like a boba because I wanted to incorporate boba into it. So like maybe having her hold a boba drink, or like maybe giving her like little boba ears. I couldn't, earrings, not ears. She has ears, earrings. But one, didn't have the money to do that, and I didn't have a boba cup or boba stuff in all of my collection of miniatures, which is weird. Like miniature food. Again, I don't particularly like boba. It's just a texture thing for me. I emulated little boba pearls into the design as best I could, specifically like on her skirt, and then I later did it on the hat as well, since I couldn't do like the concept and give her a boba drink. This is a rocker. She looks really cool, and she's got curly hair, which is perfect. This is what I wanted. So she has her curly hair in a mohawk style. Really cool, but unfortunately not the aesthetic I'm going for. I wanted to do like a little down area, like a little down moment with curly hair, so it really gives that like big, I guess an afro kind of vibe. Just a relaxed look that she's going out and enjoying her outfit. And then while that was drying, because I did do her hair with a little bit of hot water just to flatten the ends down because they really wanted to stick right up because of that mohawk. So I gave her a quick little boil wash just on the roots to hopefully keep that hair laying down. So while she dries, we can start on the outfit. So I ended up wanting to give her a graphic t-shirt, kind of like this, how this is a graphic t-shirt. So it's got just a really fun print on it. So I made a print, did everything, designed it, put like the little funny sayings on it. And I got that printed out. When I measured it, I misunderstood, because this is a recording after that, I misunderstood what the printing company meant, because they said their smallest was 2x2. I thought that would be like the max. It would be like, but they actually ended up printing like 2 inches by 3 inches, which is way too big. 2x2 would still be quite large, but I still wanted to incorporate that somehow, and sadly it just wasn't working. So that does come into context later, but that was the first thing I did while she was trying, is because I wanted to get that out of the way, and I was super excited and I wanted to try a new skill for this doll, but sadly it just didn't come to fruition because it was too big. But that's okay. I was still really proud of the design, so I just wanted to throw that in there because I really thought it was cute. But one thing I was really set on was this, making a skirt and doing little like teddy bear silhouettes as like a pattern. So I ended up having a robe that had ruffles that are just the exact size that would hit the skirt length right above the knee. I love a skirt moment. I do not like mini skirts, so knee length is perfect for me. I loved that for her. And then I went about hand painting all of the little teddy bear faces by hand. I know some of them look like the devilish mouse who loves to take over everything and has really bad videos right now with bad live remakes, specifically Snow White. But it's not the mean mouse. They're teddy bears. They just happen to kind of look the same, but they're teddy bears, not the mean mouse. And then while I was looking for a closure on that, I found this nice little bit of white ruffle that was exactly the size I needed, so it was like perfect for this project. So I slapped that on as well, so that's why it's got a little cute white ruffle. And then next is on to the stockings, which I was very set on. I really wanted to give her this cozy, a bit of Japanese art style. Not art style, street style is inspired by this doll, because their whole culture sometimes with like all these different street fashions is just embodying what you like. So they kind of look not like everyday streetwear, what we would consider here, but over there it was. And I thought that was really fun, and maybe she just really likes teddy bears. So I was really set on giving her teddy bear inspired things. And that happens to be these knee-high like stockings, and then leg warmers, which made out of teddy bear fur. But I ended up thrifting a 18-inch doll outfit, and I put the dress in another lot to sell, but I kept the stockings to make the knee-high socks out of. And socks are basically just, especially with stretchy fabric, put it over what you want to make socks out of, sew it. You can make a pattern for it. I'm really lazy and I don't feel like making a doll pattern for something I don't usually use, so I just sewed up the legs, flipped it inside out, and voila, socks. For the teddy bear, I took it apart and used it's the arms on both the sides, because it just happened to be the perfect length and like already rectangles. They weren't exactly straight rectangles, so I did go ahead and trim those up and then just sewed those onto the socks as well, because I think that would be easier so they don't get lost. And then it's just easier all around. And now this beret, I really think it's cute. I really wanted to add it, and I had an extra one from Enid, who is right here. She is obviously not wearing her beret because she is in her Raven Dance outfit, so I just had another one laying around. So I ended up taking some purple ears that I got from Bumble Bear from the Mariah Elizabeth's blind box creatures. So I did take one apart to make like a doll jacket, so that's why I just had those laying around. So around this time is when the past has kind of met up with the present, when it's time to work on the shirt. That's the only thing left of the outfit. The doll's dry. That's just what we're waiting on. The puffy paint's drying because I did use puffy paint, because when I hot glued the bear ears onto the beret, there was this big gap between fabric and plastic. So I'm going in with a few layers of puffy paint just to smooth that out. So you might see that while I'm doing all that stuff. But I also wanted to just try and use what I had. So I didn't want to get like a whole bunch of fabric. But the shirt was just not happening. So I'm like, okay, well, let's see if I can find something that has just a pattern on it. So maybe I can make like a t-shirt dress or a big oversized sweater or sweatshirt. And then we can like put the decal on it and tuck it in so it looks like it's still there, but it's like tucked in and she's all cozy walking down because it's cold. Because it snowed really hard here. Yeah, this doll was like a mess. So I found a rainbow high dress that I had thrifted, and on the seam they had the base dress, which is like the cover slip, and then the fashion fabric, which was just like tulle and stuff, and it had torn down the center. I was like, okay, well maybe this will be like a good base thing to do it. So I slipped it on. Oh my gosh, I get so confused. Let's name her Rocky. Rocky. Hello, Rocky. Nice to meet you. I am your creator. Hello. So I slipped the like little dress on Rocky, and I put the skirt on top of it just to like kind of see if this would buckle, anything like that, and it looked fabulous. I wasn't planning on filming this part yet because again I was just playing around trying to grab a pattern off of something else, but I was like, no, we're changing gears. I need the camera on and we're going to do this. So I was like, okay, did that. So now we have a shirt, but now the problem with the shirt is that it has a big seam down there. So how am I going to fix the seam? I ended up using some of the little fabric glue that I had left and just closing it up to make sure it doesn't fray anymore or come apart. And then I took another fabric that I had gotten from the elf video, I think. I'm not sure where it came from. I think it was that. I think I just ripped a ruffle off of it. I don't know. But it was cute and it was doll size. Problem was it was red as an accent because it also had like the yellow antique yellow on it, so it would match the socks. So I was like, okay, maybe we'll use that as little accents to go down and it'll cover the rip. So I got a little piece of that fabric out and then I lined it with some thicker tulle along with like the fabric glue to make it stiffer, so maybe it would have a chance, because the design in it, fabric sometimes shreds. So sometimes like the heart design that's on the fabric, if it wasn't secured enough, like if I cut it too close in little strips like I wanted to, there is a chance that the fabric would just fray and everything would just become a mess. So I lined it with that mesh, hoping that it would give the fabric a standing chance to last all this time. So I think it worked pretty well. Is this the correct way to do it? Maybe not, but it worked for me and I got to use what I had. And then I was looking at that and I was like, well, maybe we take, instead of purple accents, we do red accents, and then I could do like a jacket of some sort to put the decal on. I was like, but now I need a way to match the hearts to anything else on the design because it didn't have anything else on the design. So I ended up making a little oversized jacket for her and lining it with the same fabric, like the little heart checkered fabric. I ended up making a little jacket with that and lined it with some red fabric that I had off another costume. I was in between doing red and black, and you can kind of see me figuring out which one would be better. I ended up going with the red just to kind of cement that it is another accent color, and I think the black would have been just a bit too drastic, even though black is an accent color that I did want to use and it was part of the bear. I did add another color. There is no red on the bear, but I figured just doing a neutral tones with black accents would be a bit boring, so I did think you needed some more color in there, so I decided to go with pink and red. Originally it was pink and purple, but again, I didn't have that much purple fabric, so I ended up changing it to red to make this jacket in. That becomes a bit tricky later when I go in to paint the accessories, which we can talk about right now. Because I actually did the face and the accessories like all together, but we'll talk about the accessories first because the face is pretty simple. So the accessories, I ended up finding these little shoes on Mercari that are exactly for LOL. They fit beautifully. The bottoms are already black and white, perfect. And then the base color is pink, also perfect. All I have to do is go in and add the red and the brown little accent colors. And then I outlined each section in black and gave it white laces. I think they're gorgeous. I love them, no complaints. I also sealed them with nail polish, like nail polish top coat. I've had not the best luck with this in the past with like doll shoes that go up to like the doll's thighs and it usually just peels off. But these, I figured I'm not really going to be removing anytime soon. I just wanted the paint to be protected because I don't have any. It's snowing right now, so I don't have a really way to seal the doll yet, and I'm worried the sealant won't react well to cold. So I figured that would be the best way to give the shoes a fighting chance of even staying up until I'm able to spray them. If you're wondering how I did that, I quickly sealed them and then immediately put them on the doll, so nothing had a chance of chipping off. Like, everything was still not super wet, but it had just dried, so hopefully that gave me enough time before anything tripped. The hat was a bunch of different colors, and this is where changing it to red kind of came into play, because now purple's not the accent color, so now I have to go in and paint the ears. So I ended up going over everything with a darker brown, just because I think it doesn't really make sense, but in my mind, if I just had a solid base color of brown and I put a lighter brown onto it, because I wasn't sure if I wanted the top section to be a light brown or the bottom section to be a light brown, I figured if it's just one base color brown, it would be easier to figure out and go over with a lighter brown because I'm not fighting a pink. And it was. I think I ended up doing 4 coats in total to cover up that pink. I only did about 1 or 2 coats on the ears to try and still give it that furry texture look. Stiff now, but I'm sorry, I don't have fabric paint and I was really not in the mood to buy anything else for this doll. Also, the roads were icy, could not do it. So now we'll talk about the face. I, again, was not in the mood to do anything. The only thing I wanted to do was change the lip color to be brown and not sparkly, and maybe change the coloring of the eyeshadow. So I really left the eyes alone because she already had brown eyes, which was absolutely perfect. I was just not in the mood to like try to repaint the eyes. I'm not the best at repainting eyes. I know I couldn't do better than the original. So I just left the eyes alone and focused on doing the eyeshadow, which is what I wanted to mainly fix. Not fix, it was just make a different color scheme. So I went in with their accent colors, which was pink, and then at the very corners of her eye, which is going to be right here, the inner corner, I ended up going in with a darker red to try and blend that in to give that more of like a red accent. And I think it turned out really cute. One thing that was not in the concept sketch, but I later again didn't have boba, and at this point I knew I wasn't going to be able to do a boba. I looked into like trying to buy one, and unfortunately Mercari failed me, and there just wasn't like a boba one available. I might do the only boba cup I could find, which was what I was really missing, because I could kind of finagle everything else, but the cup itself is very specific and I just didn't have one, and the only one I could find is Hello Kitty, but that wouldn't work because I'm making another Hello Kitty themed one, so it wouldn't really make sense. So unfortunately that just isn't doing that. So no boba drink. And I knew that at this point, so I ended up taking black paint and making more boba pearls around as like accents on her eyeshadow. And I think that does help tie in the boba tea theme. Yes, okay, yay, we're done. Haha, we're done with that thing. So yeah, it was a very simple doll project, but because of everything going on, it took so much longer, and at the very end, because I put the face painting off and going down to the basement where my workstation is set up with the dictator. I just put that off so much because she's always in the way. So I wait until the very last second for that, and at that point I was over it. I was done with it. That being said, I do think she's really cute and she's very sweet. I do wish I was able to do more of like the boba tea aspect on it. I don't necessarily know if that comes across very well, but I am really proud of how she looks. Very also proud of the line jacket. I'm still a baby liner, but I think this one was really cool. But yeah, thank you for staying with me and going along this one. So thanks for coming by. Bye guys. I'm gonna go crawl in a trash can now. Actually, more likely I'm gonna go play in my collection of fun little objects.